Look, I wanted to have a real honest conversation about making money as a filmmaker, and it's something that pretty much everyone refuses to talk about. I never had any sort of mentor or really anyone in the profession tell me the truth about this. So for the 7 years of my career as a filmmaker, I was constantly struggling because I just had this belief about the business that just wasn't true. So hopefully this is going to be a video where, even though it may seem harsh or too brutally honest, I really wanted to talk about this because no one else will tell you the truth about this false belief that I hope to kind of break through in this video. And the reason why this came up is in the last few months, I've had a lot of conversations with different filmmakers. I've had those online, I've had those in YouTube comments, I've had one-on-one calls. And a very common theme that keeps coming up is usually when I talk about pricing. So a lot of videos I've made around pricing your video production package, not as a freelancer, but really thinking of yourself as a business. And a lot of times in my examples, my pricing is $5,000. Okay, that's kind of the starting price point for creating a video for a client from scratch. Now, the thing is, by the way, I don't do $5,000 videos right now in my video production company. I think the average right now, this in the last year, it's been $13,000. So we really don't even do that. That's sort of the entry point. And some people said, well, that's not what's happening in my world. In my world, these are a few different comments that I just don't want to point out, but just a general idea that they're making videos for $200, $300, or $500. Okay, so that's pretty common. I've seen that. And I was in that boat for years where I thought that's okay to do something like that. This is the problem. Let's just break this down with some math just to show you what happens if you are in this world. So let's start with the $200 video, right? This is basically you find a client, you communicate with that client, you do the shoot and you do a basic edit and you charge $200 and they get a video in return. Let's say somehow you manage to do this 100 times in 1 year, which is kind of a lot, okay? Because you're doing everything yourself. You're shooting, editing, talking to clients. That's 100 different people, or even if some person is giving you a bunch of the jobs, that's still what you get at the end of the year, $20,000. This is in the US, by the way. Now, from that $20,000, you're still paying tax. You still somehow have to buy some gear and constantly have to upgrade your gear throughout time. You have insurance, you have to pay for gas, car, right? So you're making nothing. You will basically break even in this model. And that's if you somehow manage to get 100 different people to pay you that amount of money, right? So what about $500 videos? What do we get there? Let's say you still manage to do 100 of those. So now you're making $50,000, which is decent, right? Now you're making a kind of a normal salary in the US, and depending on where you are in the world, this might be a good amount of money. But again, if you really break down the cost, which I'm very on top of with my business to make sure, hey, what's the actual cost of doing this video? And I've broken down in other videos, it's not just equipment, there's a ton of cost built into it. And this is assuming you somehow don't do any marketing, paid advertising, nothing, and you still got 100 clients somehow through word of mouth. At $50,000, your take home after tax and expenses is probably closer to $30,000. Then you have your personal insurance you pay for. If you have kids and a family, now you're still in trouble, right? So this is basically a math problem that I had to figure out on my own after struggling and couldn't figure out, why am I not saving any money? Why am I having a hard time paying my bills? Well, if you do the math, you realize even if you get a ton of clients, this price point does not work out. You will remain where you are. You can't scale. You can't hire other people. You can't buy more equipment. It's a huge problem that so many people are stuck in. So that's why when I break down a pricing point for a video package, it starts at $5,000. Even at a $5,000 level, okay, I can't really do a $5,000 video 100 times a year. Okay, I can't do that. So it's going to give me less videos, but then I'm hiring other people to take care of it and it could grow from there, right? So that's why $5,000 was our entry point, and we try to get even clients at the next level. That's a great place for us to go from freelancer to running our own company, getting $5,000 video packages. And I know people are saying, well, in my country or in my city, this is not how it works. It's mostly because you're working with the wrong client type. I've seen animation companies in India doing 7 figures by basically taking global clients. They're taking videos from any place, right? They're basically not doing shoots. In a local market where you're doing a shoot, it may be that the starting point is not 5,000, but I guarantee you it's not 500. If you think it's 500 and you keep doing this, I did it for 7 years and I was in the exact same position. I was frustrated, I was burned out, I was about to give up. But then I made that shift and then boom, all of a sudden I went from having $500 clients to $5,000 clients. And then I stepped it up every time, even more than that, and basically got me to this point. Now, let me explain this. You are not going to convince your $500 client to give you $5,000. That's not the point of this video. The point is, you cannot get that $500 client to give you any more money. That's what that client is, okay? A lot of people were saying, well, I work for a YouTuber, and it doesn't make sense. I couldn't really spend any amount of money on this video besides what I paid the editor, because these videos don't really make money. I would be the wrong client for you for this YouTube channel, right? It doesn't make sense. It's the wrong client. The other thing people mention is, well, this is art, people don't really value art. Well, if you think of it like art, that may be the case, right? But usually I don't think of creating a video as art unless I'm making a film or a documentary or something like that, where I think more as an advertising or marketing tool for another company. That's why I love doing B2B, business to business type of transactions, where I'm creating a marketing video or a commercial for you, and you're gonna use that to get clients, and it has a lot of value for you. Now they can't see it as art, right? They see it as commerce. It's a whole different tool for that client. So you got to think of it that way. And the last thing I wanted to mention is sales and marketing, and why I think every filmmaker and everyone trying to basically make a business out of this and make a full-time living out of this needs to understand the basics of sales and marketing. And this is, again, some other comments that I saw related to this, and they were saying, Spielberg doesn't need to know sales and marketing. Well, when he started, it was a different world. Even if you look at DPs and directors in this world, they basically get a shot. Let's say just any of us decides to be a director or a DP or a filmmaker. Our chances of making it is less than 1 out of 1,000, okay? This formula where you actually make money using video as a tool for other businesses has a much higher success rate if you just take the time to learn sales and marketing. I can't teach you to pursue the path of well-known filmmakers, right? Because they all had different opportunities and maybe some got lucky and some were extremely talented. Something is very hard to teach anybody else, right? But if you learn the basics of sales and marketing, you can make a substantial living just creating videos, and then you could take the profits from that and work on your passion projects, which is exactly what I do. Sales and marketing is only really pursued by like 2 or 3% of filmmakers. That's why it's just such an open gap there between the people that are broke, that are fighting for videos under $1,000, and then the people that are doing the higher end or middle tier to higher end videos, because they understand this is a business, they run it as a business, they have a profit margin, they have money for sales and marketing, they do paid advertising, and they get clients you will never pursue otherwise because they'll never find you. Right? They're playing in a whole different field that you are not included in. By learning sales and marketing, if you're the 2-3% of people that even take the time to do that, you are now in a different game, right? So you're not competing with all the people fighting for the scraps, where those are the videos under $1,000. If I get an email asking for $1,000 videos, I don't respond to that email. I'm not playing in that field. I want you to get to there as fast as possible, so then you realize this false belief gets broken the moment you realize there's a whole nother world out there where people are paying a higher rate for videos, 10 times higher than what you may be charging right now. And once I was able to achieve that and get 10 times higher, I'm not providing the same $500 video, right? I'm providing something much more valuable, which then could level me up. I can't go from $500 to making $50,000 per project, right? But I could gradually move up from that $500. So hopefully this helps break some of that false belief that, hey, clients are not paying $500 per video as a norm. That is not the norm, okay? If you level up everything that you understand about the video world, you realize there is a whole different game that's being played that is not at that low tier. So hopefully that was useful to you, and I hope to catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.